Now, every year, around 5,000 so-called honour killings take place around the world. That's where a family murders one of its own members, usually female, who they believe has shamed them. One recent case that shocked Italy is that of Hina Salim, who was killed by her father, Mohammed, because he said she'd become too westernised. Well, the BBC has obtained access to an interview with him in his prison cell. Our Rome correspondent Duncan Kennedy reports.
Hina Salim died amid a clash of cultures, from Asian girl to Western woman, a transformation that cost her her life. This is her father, Mohammed Salim, the man who killed her, murdering his own daughter to uphold the family's honour.
I didn't want to kill her, I wanted her to come back home.
She'd refused an arranged marriage, smoked and lived with an Italian boyfriend. Her father says she shamed the family.
I'm a good father. My daughter was a very good daughter before. Then all of a sudden she changed.
He said he didn't want Hina to live a Western life.
I didn't want my daughter to be too free, having drugs on the streets. I didn't want this thing to happen.
Hina's transition from apple of her father's eye to victim of his murderous rage is now chronicled in a new book, a book that concludes this is not just about the unbridgeable differences between the Muslim and secular worlds.
Just trying to be a normal Italian teenager, a normal Western teenager. This is the problem of the second generations. In this story, there is a double conflict. There is a conflict between cultures, and there is a conflict between generations, between parent and child.
In these letters, Hina's anguish pours out of not being understood by her Pakistani father and family. Mohammed Salim ended up slitting her throat 28 times. He and others buried her in the back garden, his way, he says, of bringing her back into line.
When she died, the only thing I wanted was for her to come back home. I thought only about having her next to us at home. It's the only thing I thought.
Mohammed Salim was a law-abiding, integrated member of the South Asian community. He was respected and demanded his daughter not jeopardize that. The death of Hina was a tragedy for everyone, including her father. But don't think these kinds of killings are rare. They're not. The United Nations believes that every year 5,000 women and girls are murdered by members of their own family, all in the name of honour. Her death, says those who've studied this tragedy, went beyond simple confrontation.
The parents stopped talking the same language as their daughter. Hina was brought home to be buried in the garden so she could be close to her family.
Mohammed Salim is now serving 30 years in jail, still feeling that Hina shamed him, but now regretting the destructive consequences of his actions.
It's not only Hina who died, my whole family died.
Hina's story. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News, in Rome.